historical maneuver, but it is hopefully entertaining. Bring the melon.
I'm coming with the melon.
Bring the melon.
All right, now we do these shows everywhere from Canada to Florida, and we always ask 2 questions. The first question is, are those swords real? No, they aren't sharp. We aren't stupid. However, they are still big, long pieces of metal that can be very dangerous. This melon is about as hard to cut through as, say, somebody's stomach, and you can see. Sorry about that.
3D.
Seeds, you know. That it is not difficult to cut through it. Here. Free melon to anyone who wants it. There you go.
Delicious sword cut melon.
Watch out, the seeds are dangerous. Where's the rest? All right. Now, the second question we are so often asked is that really the way they used to sword fight? The answer is no, they used to kill each other. And we are going to try and avoid that. However, starting about the year 1300, people began writing down instruction books on how to sword fight. We can do what those instruction books say and do it in the proper style. Ready?
Sure, we're going to do 5 sets of techniques. One is going to be falling under the sword with the sword and buckler.
Well, tell them what weapon it is. I didn't enter the
I'm
weapon.
waiting for them to talk so they can show it. We're going to be using sword and buckler. Very short, very nasty set of weapons. We're going to do 5 sequences. One is going to be an example of following under the sword. And we're going to do 2 disarm techniques to show you today. So why don't we go ahead and get in our starting position. Now this is the oldest European sword manual that we use. I like it because it was taught at church school. It's the oldest one we use. And it features a woman sword fighting in the 1320s. Go. As you can see, very short and brutal, not like the first sword fight you saw our show today. Now remember, for any maneuver you might do, there's a counter maneuver. All you have to do is suppress his sword, shield lock, come on in. Now there's a third technique I think you're going to recognize right away. Don't skip ahead.
Right?
It's called grappling. As you can see, he has complete control out of him because they use that sword and buckler as a unit. But once again, any maneuver you might have, there is always a counter maneuver. You ready?
Yeah, let's see what you can do with this. Counter maneuver. Counter maneuver. Ha! Ho! Ho! Right, I got you.
In the manual, it features him picking up his foot and kicking in the back of his spine. We're not doing that today. Oh my.
Thank you. Hey, let's try this one more time.
But if you're against an experienced combatant, this could happen. So even though he was quick and sacrificed his weapons, it was not quick enough. Now, you didn't necessarily have to always hurt your opponent. The 2 next examples we're going to use are going to be examples of sort of embarrassing your opponent or disarming him.
Ready?
So he was able to grab the blade and pull it, and then when he came down, was simply able to outmaneuver. Now, Jose's going to use a classic one known as fiddle bow. And he's basically intimating to our friend Devin here that he's a lazy, sloppy sword fighter and he's tired.
Oh, come on. I got this. I got this.
So all you do is grapple over and grab them.
The last bit.
We should do the last bit. Now this is pretty what you call the shortest sword fight you can have.
Ready?
We call that the medieval drive-by. So that's where we're going to end sword and buckler. We're going to shoot on over to falchion from the 1400s.
All right, falchion was a curved one-handed weapon, very popular with foot soldiers. We are going to demonstrate some techniques on it that come from a book written by a priest in 1473. You roll up my sleeves, son? Not that it'll matter. Ow! Hey! Got more grass than sword. Now, come on. This is your cue.
I get a cue.
The manual in 1473 says, have a friend in the audience ready with a giant bag. Throw your opponent in the name of God.
You're gonna sit on him. You need
And then sit on him and play backgammon.
Yeah, my hip!
I didn't bring the backgammon board though. It is hot in there. That's why it's long sword. Alright, the next one we're going to show you comes from the 1500s. It is the German longsword. It has a longer blade and a longer handle.
Begin to a bind from the overhead strike. Use the guard on the sword to just knock hers aside. Continue twist around and strike to the ear. But if you're ready for a maneuver like that, she can feel me start to move. She just lifts up out of the way, lets me overcommit to the side, and just drops it down right between the eyes. But I can be ready for that too. I felt her start to lift away, and instead of letting her get away with that, I flick to the side, and again twist around and strike her in the other ear. Or, instead of going back and forth with that exchange, we could go either way. Sometimes you just want to go in and throw. It's much easier.
Alright, now, yes, keep the longsword. In the 1400s in Italy, there's a master named Vadi, probably want to move a little bit that way, who had some interesting techniques involving mixed weapons. Like one of his things was, well, what happens if you have a spear and your opponent has a sword and you throw the spear at him? It says he should knock the spear out of the air and attack me. Get my spear. So of course, that leaves me at a significant disadvantage. But the next page says, what happens if I have two spears? And I only throw one. And the book says at this point, you should, quote, know what to do. So for the last about 525 years, this has been something of a mystery. But what we think it is that you displace the other person's weapon and attack them. It doesn't matter if he displaces me or I displace him. The principles are the same. Let's see. Why don't we jump to silver? We'll skip the right here. Alright, the next one we're going to show you comes from England, and it is for a very stiff one-handed sword known as the back sword or mortuary sword.
Now, this was preferred over the rapier because it was stiffer and it also had a cutting edge. There are many techniques for it. Silver preferred defensive techniques, as Crystal shall demonstrate. Shall we flip around?
Yes, we shall.
Ready?
Gotcha. Oh, no, I don't.
As you can see, defense can sometimes be a disadvantage when you choose to go to offense.
Let's add daggers. I'll win this time.
Let's add daggers to this, shall we? As my assistant has said. Oh.
I win.
Sometimes defense can work to your advantage as well. I need a bigger sword.
Oh, come on. It's not going to help you.
Want a spear?
That's cheating.
I want a bigger sword.
That's cheating.
Oh, come on.
Keep it in your pants.
What, are you afraid?
Sure, why not?
Ha!
We'll call it afraid. Dropped it. I caught the sword between the dagger and my sword and just used it to guide my sword to his chin.
Alright, the next one we're going to show you is another curved one-handed sword. This was known as the Dusak. It was very popular in the 1600s in Germany. However, very few of them have survived. We think maybe they were made of wood or leather or something because we really have so few of them nowadays. So we are going to be using a 1800s cavalry saber, which is the wrong sword, but it is about the right length and the right curvature, so we can still use it to do the techniques. I almost went out of the ring, and I think that would disqualify me. Ah! No thanks. And you can see that throughout history, if you overbalance yourself, your opponent can use it against you. It really doesn't matter what kind of weapon it is. Dagger? We're doing German here. Alright, next we'll show you some dagger techniques from Germany in the 1500s. You do it. I'm sorry.
Now, we're going to use these nice rounded versions. This is what they actually look like. These are incredibly dangerous, especially if you're kind of trying to look at them like this. But they were designed to basically be a lobster pick for people in armor. Wearing the armor. Oh.
Yeah,
well, you could
use your imagination.
It could go through the links and chain, and then you can pound the pommel through. You can in plate, you can get underneath the shoulder blade, crack them like a lobster. It's a very versatile tool, and it's kind of like the medieval pocket knife. They're going to show you some German versions of this, and I'll get out of their way.
Great.
We'll start unarmed. Yeah.
It never survives the first exchange.
Actually, last time it did. Oh! I'd like to keep my arm.
If I'm quick enough, I can just pull her arm down over my shoulder, break it. If she's quick, she can choke me out.
Alright, this. I need to stop seeing that.
One more time, everybody.
Third time's a charm. Hey, she's down again. That's the second.
Let's do
Do I
this
have
one more
to?
time, everybody. How about it?
Guys are my blood punishment. I got this.
Ha! I got her! If we were to simultaneously attack,
Stronger opponent wins.
fine.
Yes, Italian dagger.
Italian
Now an
dagger.
example of some Italian dagger written by a swordmaster named Fiore.
Fiore was a very big fan about using speed to your best advantage. Speed? Speed. Let's see how fast you really are. Should I let him go?
No.
What if he said you leave?
No.
Higher. I gotta use him for
Hey, if I
another
have
show.
to take more spills, then
Fiore wrote this manual, and one of the interesting things about this one is it shows you how to fight against mixed weapons. Now, generally when you're walking around town, town guard generally didn't like you walking like this. They kind of thought you'd be up to no good, go figure. So you either wore your sword at the hilt, or you carried it in a parade format in a sheath. Now the problem with this is that daggers are very small and easy to conceal. And before I can do anything, he can pokey pokey. I don't like him doing the pokey pokey. Unfortunately, Fiore has a solution to this. Really? Let's see his solution. I use my sheath to pin his arm, and then I turn him into shish kebab. Let's try that from your hip, shall we? Sure. Ready? Here you are. Not necessarily. Sometimes both people lose.
Alright, we've done some English styles, we've done some German styles, we've done some Italian styles. Now we're going to show you some Spanish knife fighting that, according to the author of the book, was how Spanish loan sharks collected on debts. You owe me money. I'm here to collect. Out of the rope, you're disqualified. Alright, McBain. Now we're going to show you an example from a Scottish book on sword fighting. In all honesty, that's a gross exaggeration. It is a Scottish book on where to find good pubs, what to drink, which barmaids are the best. And once in a while he mentions something about sword fighting, I think just to justify his publication cost. So we're going to show you a couple of very short moves because we really can't afford to take you all drinking in Aberdeen.
Why not? Ready?
Ready.
Now, we will do that from the other side so you can get a better shot of what I did. Me being the more experienced sword fighter, have a better position. So when we swing, I slide off the shield and into his gut. Next, I hit his shield, and then I pull away. When he thinks I'm clear, he pulls down the shield to check. That was a foolish maneuver, and I go into the throat. That is all.
McBain
200 pages of drinking and 2 pages of sword
McBain
fighting.
can be summed up of hit him where he isn't looking, and if he's stupid, kill him, and let's go drinking in Aberdeen.
Aberdeen.
Now, lawnmowers. Now we're going to show you a maneuver with the medieval lawnmower. And we get our favorite lawnmowers out here. I think in Devin's left hand looks like Devin's right hand. Dyslexic, sorry. The medieval lawnmower was a wonderful weapon. Actually, it's a terrible weapon. I think somebody lost a bet, and that's why they had to fight with it. But in 1550, somebody wrote a book on how to fight with this, and we will show you some of these examples. There aren't, to the best of our knowledge, any other groups in North America doing these techniques because we had it translated out of the medieval Latin. So, unless other people are out there doing medieval Latin, I think we're the only place you'll see this. You notice, like dagger, there's a lot of grabbing because it's a very short weapon. Nope.
Wrong one.
Let's do sequence 2.
Sequence 2.
Ow! Alright, this one says she swings at my head and I block. I swing at her face and she blocks, and then it says she skins my arm. It does not say block. You need not show such enthusiasm. And it says instead of blocking, I hit her in the face. So apparently in Munich in 1550 there might have been a lot of people without much skin on their left hand. This is the one, yes. Whoa. This one says again, she swings at my head and I block, or no.
I cut off
Sorry,
your
this time
arm.
I was doing the wrong one. She goes and cuts off my arm, but it says I should block and hit her in the face. And then it says she, quote, cuts at my loins. Good news is it says block and hit her in the face. So maybe I don't have skin on my arm, but I can still walk. Wait, this is the one that hurts.
Yep.
And this one it says, she swings, I block, and before I can come in, she just punches me in the chest. And even though I'm almost a foot taller and probably a good 150 pounds heavier, that really hurts. And it does kind of induce me to not come further forward.
Well, it uses your own body momentum because you're walking towards me.
It does indeed. And now for our last one, we're going to show you... Where's Dave?
Behind you.
Ah! We're going to show you the Becta Corbin, which I'll let you guys talk about.
Yes. This is the Becta Corbin. So named because they thought this portion looked like a raven's beak. I can see it. This is an extremely dangerous weapon. We are instead going to be using rubber replicas.
Because we're not stupid.
Because my insurance is expensive enough already.
And that.
And they're married.
Now, though this is a long weapon, it teaches you to use every part. The hammer, the hook, the point, the butt spike, and the center shaft.
Down again.
Put the shaft right across, step behind her knee, and throw over the hip. We should show them that one again.
Yes, we should.
Oh!
Surrender.
I can't move. Okay, thank you.
That's intentional.
She's good.
It's supposed to hook his knee.
And pull it out. Off!
Alimony.
You're gonna want that.
Let the looking win.
Okay. What? I might be able to get out of the way of that.
No.
Ha! Oh! And the next sequence, oh, that's also effective. The next sequence in the book shows her drawing a dagger from the back of her belt, plunging to the ground and stabbing the face. But that is similarly effective.
All right, that is where we'll end our show this afternoon. Thank you very much for watching. At 4 o'clock, under the roof at the bottom of the hill there, we will be doing some of our children's stories, which are more like fairy tales, things like that. We'll be doing St. George and the Dragon and the Boy Who Cried Wolf. So come see us at 4 o'clock. If you have any questions, our tent's right there.
By the
all
way,
means,
it's
stop
fun
by.
for all ages. Don't think it's just for kids.